And the other thing he bought, but he didn't tell me or show it to me until we got to the Assembly Center, was he had friends in the wholesale departments, of course, because he was a businessman, so he knew all the wholesale people. At this time, chocolate was already very short. You couldn't get candy bars. And he used to have these full boxes of candy bars. And they're not like the candy bars you see nowadays. They were about the size of what we probably pay $1 for. And they were these full boxes of them, I don't know, 24, 48 in a box. And he bought maybe 3 or 4 boxes of those, and he packed them. And so then when we went to camp, I went to the Assembly Center, he brought them out for me. And he said, here, he says, these are for you. And he says, and you can share them with your friends.
So, I mean, boxes of chocolate. So, I mean, yeah, lots of pieces.
Well, no, the chocolate bars.
Okay.
They were individual bars.
Oh, bars.
Boxes of individual bars. That's the way they sold them at the wholesale store. Mm-hmm. They would be, there would be a box, and they were sealed. There would be probably 24, 48 in a box. And that's the way they were set up at the grocery store. They open the box, and then you just take a bar out. And in those days, of course, the bars were large, 8 ounces. Something.
Well, that was a treasure.
Yeah, so I had, and they were good bars. I mean, we had Hershey Almond, I don't remember whether we had Nestle. I just remember they were very good bars. And so, of course, I was very popular. And I would share them with my friends, my little group of friends. And but I said, I could only give you one just to you. I said, I can't give it to you for your brothers and sisters. So one of the kids said, is it okay if I only eat part of it and take it home for the rest? So that's what a lot of them did. So, but those lasted for quite a while. And in fact, right next to our Assembly Center was the Army camp where the soldiers were that were our guards. And we could hear reveille every morning, and we would look out and watch them do their marching. They were in a very cramped quarters. And they had the watchtowers over at the edges of the fences and everything. But we had quite a large area we could run around. And so we would go out and play. And one day I said, I feel sorry for the soldiers up in that guard tower just standing there all the time. We should see if see if they'd like a candy bar. And they said, okay. So we ran over there and we waved at them. They were always friendly. They would wave and, say hello. And I said, would you like a candy bar? And he said, no, thank you. And we said, and I remember saying something like, well, they're good. They're not poisoned. And I said, I'll open it up and take a bite if you want, And he said, oh, we're not allowed to eat on duty, but thank you very much, And I thought, oh, how strange. He doesn't even want a candy bar when I knew they were very hard to get, because he probably couldn't get them either.